Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas.
Before the break, I asked you a quick question. Was Cole Benz's wife, Bertha Benz, the first person to drive a car over a long distance? The answer is yes. In 1888, Bertha Benz drove one of the newly constructed patent motor wagon automobiles, approximately 106 kilometers, and in doing so got the company its first sales.
Dave Hasty, a member of the motorsport community who recently passed away, was remembered at Zwartkops for his contributions and involvement both at the track and specifically with the Lotus and Mini categories.
Thank you for coming today. It's gone, but you will not be forgotten. And as the tribute says, who hasn't got a picture hanging on their walls that Dave didn't take?
Great sentiment there from Peter du Toit for a man who is sorely missed. A strong field arrived on this chilly autumn morning for the Sabat Lotus Challenge, with 34 cars set to come under starters' orders.
Well, the old Class A car was 2-litre normally aspirated motor that was quite highly developed. It's quite expensive formula, so we're trying to do something giving us the same power levels but at a fraction of the cost. So this is a 2-litre Nissan SR20 VT engine, standard motor, completely standard gearbox, pushing out very healthy power for a very small budget.
I had a little bit wide in turn 4, speared across the track. The tire barriers were so wide. I had a big crash there 2 or 3 years ago, hitting the tires about 140 kilometers an hour, and that was playing in my mind. In the end, I just brushed the tires, left a little bit of the car there, but it was still quick enough for pole. Lucky escape. Little bit of pride, little bit of bodywork, could have been much worse. I'm pleased. And it's a little bit harder to get heat into the tires. The engines, of course, love this cold weather. The dense air makes us all a few kilowatts stronger. But the track yesterday was very, very slippery. My experience of the track this morning, very, very slippery, and I'm just not sure the track's going to come in today.
First race of the day, I'm nervous but excited at the same time. Qualifying went very, very well. I qualified better than I expected. It's just crazy out there with all the other guys, you know, the faster guys coming past you, and you know, you got to be on the lookout for everybody as well. So, but I did well, very, very well. My plan of attack is just to finish the race, bring the car back in one piece, and enjoy it. Eh? I'm not there to get lap records or anything, just enjoy the race.
Anton Muller in his developmental car heads up the field with Jeff Gable alongside him. Rob Gearing and James Forbes are on row 2. Sean Allen is the first of the Class C cars, and Andre Duplessis is the first of the Class L cars. Derek van der Merwe is cleared from the track. The grid is ready, the marshals clear the track, and racing will begin. The lights are on. The lights go off, and racing begins, but not for Ben Knights, who is having some problems. Into turn 1, and Jeff Gable has got the jump on Anton Muller and leads the field into turn 1. James Forbes, Rob Gearing, Neil Delata and Glenn Clark barrel through. As usual, there's great racing in the Sabat Lotus Challenge, and the competition is fierce. Neil Delata having a great start and challenging Anton Muller for second place. The field jostle for position as they make their way through NXCon. Ben Knights unfortunately not making his way off the start line. He shed all the CV joint bolts trying to start. Up the hill to turn 5, and the battles are beginning to take shape. James Forbes of the inside line thinks about getting ahead of the purple machine of Neil Delata. He doesn't quite have the legs on him yet, but he won't give up. Coming into turn 2, and James Forbes and Jeffrey Kruger are running side by side, battling for position. This is a great battle, and neither driver is giving an inch. Up the hill to Castrol, Delata on the outside, Forbes on the inside. Forbes moves ahead and Delata slots in behind him as they power their way to Kenwood. Coming out of Castrol, and there's a spinner in front of Greg Samuel. Samuel trying to avoid contact is unsuccessful, and he clips to Abreu as he heads for the kitty litter. Samuel manages to get back onto the track, and Abreu is stuck facing oncoming traffic on the track. Samuel retiring his Lotus with damage. A quick look at the replay, and we see Abreu spin around. From Samuel's perspective, we see Abreu lose it and spin in front of him as they come out of Castrol Corner, and the pair make contact as they head for the kitty litter. While the field is under the safety car, they cleared Abreu's car from the track. Car cleared, and racing gets underway again. Anton Muller leads the field into turn 1. Jeff Gable is pursued by Rob Gearing, James Forbes and Neil Delata. Into the hairpin they stream, battles beginning to reform after the safety car period and the field being closed up again. Between turn 5 and 6, Neil Delata in the purple machine is running alongside Jeffrey Kruger. Kruger on the outside fighting hard to stay alongside Delata. Into turn 1, it's Muller, Gable, Gearing. Behind them, James Forbes pirouettes through the kitty litter after losing it on turn 1. That'll cost Forbes a lot of time. He keeps his car moving but has lost valuable positions. Looking at the replay, you see Forbes spin his way off the track into a full 360. Coming up the hill, and there are up to 6 cars locked in battle, and it really could be anyone's. It just takes one mistake, which isn't happening at the moment. Between Kenwood and turn 7, and Jeffrey Kruger runs wide off into the kitty litter and is losing places. Kruger rejoins the race and will have to work hard to catch up to where he was as the cars swarm around him. Connor Jones runs side by side with Kruger down the main straight. Coming through Castrol Corner, and Neil McLeod is wheel to wheel with Neil Delata, and the battle between the pair continues. Glenn Clark, John Glover and Etienne Stradom join in, putting the pressure on Neil Delata, who leads them through Kenwood. Heading into turn 2, and it's Wesley Maxwell who leads the way. He's followed by Tinus Bronkhorst, who is about to be lapped by race leader Anton Muller. Into turn 8 comes Tim Clamp, who has Andres Letnik close behind and pushing as hard as he can, the pair giving it their all. The battle continues as they begin their final lap of the race. Behind them, coming to take the checkered flag, it's Anton Muller. Up at the tabletop, the battle rages on. McLeod goes shooting past Delata after leaving his braking late. There's contact and they both go farming. Delata's able to rejoin the track. McLeod keeps his engine running and also makes his way back onto the track. The field stream past McLeod and he sees his 4th place result disappearing. Into the final turn, and the cars and drivers are streaming in to take the checkered flag. Etienne Stradom edges ahead of Jeffrey Kruger by 3/100ths of a second. A replay of the contact between McLeod and Delata. Anton Muller won the race ahead of Jeff Gable. Etienne Stradom inched ahead of Jeffrey Kruger. Glenn Clark, John Glover and Sean Hewitt were separated by less than a second. Great racing in the Sabat Lotus Challenge.
Well, you know, there's an old saying, when 2 elephants make love, monkey climbs tree. So I decided to climb in the tree and watch the sparks fly in front of me. In the first couple of laps, guys were bumping and bashing. We were 8-9 cars going 3 side by side up into turn 4. Yeah, great fun. I basically just took advantage of the mistakes that were made in front of me, to be very honest with you. I won't put it down to racing talent.
Yeah, it was wild. It was the best race. You know, last race we said was the best. I think this was even better. 5 cars abreast into turn 5 with 2 people spectating behind. Then a few meters later, those 2 were ahead. Jeffrey Kruger came and showed us what youngsters with talent can do. He lost it and then came back right at us. It was wonderful.
I got mobbed and mobbed again. I had a good race though. We were sometimes 3 abreast and trying to get past Barney and Neil having a battle in front of me was just impossible. Every time I got next to them, there was just some carnage happening a bit. So it was quite entertaining from where I was, and then you have to watch your mirrors because these guys come and mob you. So there was just position swapping all over. We'll see the final result sheet where we came because we're still not sure.
I was just a keeper at the back, waiting for these guys to make the mistakes that I could take up. But yeah, it was good. Nice, clean racing. Well, partly clean at least.
The grid is assembled and ready to start race 2 of the Sabat Lotus Challenge. Ben Knight's getting a better start than in race 1. Jeff Gable leads the field into turn 1. Behind him, Jeffrey Kruger making a great start from 5th position up into 3rd. Behind him is Etienne Stradom. Coming towards Renix Khan, and Gable leads Kruger and Muller, with the rest of the field tightly bunched together as they jostle for position. Sean Allen in his orange machine is pushing hard, closing up on Andre Darfel as they exit the hairpin and head towards Speed and Sound Sweep. Darfel fights back and gets the power down to move clear ahead of Allen. Into Castrol Corner, and Anton Muller has moved into the lead ahead of Jeff Gable. Rob Gearing in his Red Lotus is ahead of Glenn Clark as they head up the hill. John Glover leads Sean Hewitt and Neil DeLata. At the top of the track coming into Sassel, it's Muller, Gable, Kruger with Stratum fending off Gearing and Clark. Neil DeLata, James Forbes and Sean Hewitt are locked in the battle. Behind them, Neil McLeod goes wide and off into the kitty litter, starting race 2 the way he ended race 1. Juan Toy passes McLeod and heads after Johan Powell. Through Kenwood and McLeod runs wide again. Ben Knight's coming up on all the action and he passes Jay Murray and heads after Andreas Letnik as McLeod recovers on the kitty litter. Into the pits comes Jay Murray and Neil McLeod. Rob Gearing is chasing after Etienne Stratum as they head through BMW Performance Parts and on towards Renexcon. Behind them, John Glover leads a hard-charging Neil DeLata with James Forbes determined not to get left behind. Wheel-to-wheel, Glover and DeLata race towards Speed and Sound Sweep. Glover edging the advantage and Forbes looking to follow him through. Gearing pushing hard, looking for a way past Stratum. Mirror to mirror, they climb up to Sassel. Gearing has the inside line and manages to eke out a slight advantage over Stratum. Stratum fights back and the pair race side by side into Kenwood. Gearing still with the inside line, edges ahead of Stratum. Close to the track with Ben Knight as he chases after Tim Clamp. Foot flat, Knight makes his move through turn 7, passes Clamp and heads after Andreas Letnik. The pair come through G&H Transport and onto the start-finish straight. Both pushing hard. Tinus Bronkhorst in his blue Class C machine is pushing hard, moves ahead of the green machine of Wesley Maxwell. Andres Letnik and Ben Knight race into turn 2. Knight's locking up and Letnik stays ahead. Tim Clamp, making the most of the opportunity, takes the inside line as they head to turn 3. Knight clearly has problems as Bronkhorst also passes him. Knight's limping his car slowly round, looking for a safe place to park it, unsure of the problem. Up at Sassel Corner, Fred Alberts and Philip Vermeulen are dicing for position. Wheel to wheel, the pair race towards Kenwood, Alberts edging ahead. Into Renexcon and it's Ken Cloud ahead of Jonathan Clamp. Sean Allen leads Fred Alberts, Philip Vermeulen and Carl Sharp. Sharp looking for a way past Vermeulen. Glover leads Ben Knight, who had got going again. While grabbing for second, he had accidentally knocked the off switch and it took him a while to figure what he had done, and now he has a lot of ground to make up. Great shot from Knight as Sean Hewitt passes him. Andres Letnik and Greg Samuel are locked in a great battle as they head down to turn 1. Letnik exits the corner ahead, but Samuel is not giving up just yet. Into Renexcon and the Red Lotus moves ahead. The checkered flag is out for Anton Muller in the developmental Lotus, and he takes a double victory on the day. Greg Samuel on his way to the line is still pushing hard, and he gets his Lotus a bit sideways coming down the main straight on his way to the flag. Ken Cloud, Jonathan Clamp, Fred Alberts and Sean Allen are bunched together heading into turn 8 and onto the flag. Cloud leads them over the line. Jonathan Clamp and Fred Alberts are separated by just 7/100ths of a second. Great close competitive racing in the Sabat Lotus Challenge as always, with Jeff Gable edging out Etienne Stratum by 0.3 of a second. John Glover also edging out Sean Hewitt by 0.3 of a second.
The car wasn't so nice, but I managed to stay in front, and at the end they sort of backcaught me, but I managed to keep the pressure off and managed to take the win for the day.
Well, John was on my back wheel all the time. I always saw my back mirrors was orange all the time, and he was next to me, but he couldn't pass me. Luckily I could be able to keep him behind me, and it was a good race. I just couldn't catch Andre, unfortunately, but it was a good race.
I think with the cars so closely matched, unless somebody makes a mistake, there's just, I mean, you can be like a fool and dive the guy, take both of us out, not worth it. Cars are too tightly matched. Somebody has to make a mistake, and today nobody made a mistake, and I came third.
I got mugged on the line by Sean, and I think he was there. We were both there, and trying, and eventually we got past him, and then I was way ahead of John, and I could see him coming, and trying, and I managed to stay ahead. So I'm quite happy with what happened.
It was quite a stressful race on my side. I had it from all sides. I was trying to trace Ken. That's it. I nearly called you Glenn. Sorry. I was trying to chase Ken, and I had Fred Alberts hot on my tail. So yeah, very stressful down to the last few centimeters on the line, but a lot of fun.
Join us after the break for the SKF Pre 66 and 84 Sports and GTs.